This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 127 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda. In this episode, I will give you an update on my knitting antics of the last 2 weeks. I then have a short section about doing visible mends on your own layer cakes, and then we dive into Layercake with the introduction of the new top, the Crofter. I'm wearing a Crofter at the moment with the very wide cuffs folded up so that I end up with 3/4 length sleeves. If I pull them down, they're full length. The Crofter we can make it in any of our, I think, 24 shades of our heavier linen. And there are 5 colors that I'm featuring in this particular episode as a highlight, but the choice is yours. However, before that, an update on what I've been knitting. So, as I promised in the last episode in 126, I did indeed finish the jumper that I was working on. It's right here next to me. And just to recap, it is a jumper that is a bit of a pattern hack, for want of a better word, of a pattern that is meant to be a sleeveless jumper with pockets and a hood. I've done the hood, I've left the pockets, but I've added sleeves to it. So I put the detail of the top down below. I'll say it as well. It's the Tanke top, the pattern itself, available on Ravelry by AnkeStrick. And the way I added the sleeves was literally just to pick up stitches around the armhole and then knit first a straight section, and then after a while start decreasing my stitches. So when I was in Holland recently and I had finished all but the sleeves, my brother and his wife said, "Oh, why don't you do something contrasting with the sleeve? Put a completely different color in or something." And I thought, yeah, actually, I quite like the idea of introducing a new color, but I also wanted to start the sleeve, at least start the sleeve with the stripes that the jumper was in, because of the contrast of the different directions of the stripes that you get with the sleeves. And I quite liked having at least a part of that. So I started with the original 2 colors. And then I remembered that I had this sock yarn, one ball of this sock yarn, and it's just my favorite color of all time, I think. It's like a raspberry red, a soft, very dark red pink. You'll see it again here, a variation on it, and another variation on it here. And I just keep picking it up wherever I can. So this was one ball of sock yarn that I bought a couple of years ago at Tribe Yarns, and then never had done anything with it. And I know that in terms of running length, it is the same as the ochre color Malabrigo sock yarn that I had been using for the stripes in the main panel. So I then realized that, well, actually, I can not only change one of the colors, I could also change the pattern. And I've got a pink shirt that I recently bought with these cream colored spots on it, and I thought, actually, I quite like the idea of dotted. So hence the dotted edge end of this sleeve. And when I was knitting this, I had already decided that on the other sleeve I was going to make that section longer. So here is the other sleeve, just a little bit of the ochre and the grey beige biche et bûche Le Petit Lamb's wool here, and then onto it's a West Yorkshire Spinners yarn in this, I think it's called Cherry Drop color, with the spots again in the same biche et bûche, but a lot longer, so that asymmetric effect. And then no cuff at all. I've just gone for a sewn Kitchener bind off, which is the Kitchener cast on and bind offs are my absolute favorite, all-time favorites. I love knits that don't have any cuffs, any ribs on them, and of course you get a really nice straight edge here because I've been stranding my color work behind there, so that extra kind of firmness that you end up with in the fabric then make sure that your edge doesn't roll. Of course I get a little bit more roll, not that much actually. If I would press this out a little bit, most of this would disappear, but I've been wearing this jumper loads already. So the edge here at the front rolls a bit, but I actually love that. So the other thing that this jumper has automatically kind of done without me putting any effort into that is given it the look that I like, that gives you a slightly longer back than front. And it's just kind of a natural effect of how this top is shaped and falls, because it's got a very unusual construction. As you can see, the back panel goes up and then just over the top of the shoulders to end up kind of folding and making part of the shoulder seam slightly in front, and then you pick up stitches to knit. As you can see here, a hood in the back. The hood doesn't look very big the way it's kind of draped, but it's a perfect size. I can put it up if I want to, but of course it's mainly there for illustration purposes and for just decorational purposes, I should say, illustration purposes. It's there for decoration mostly, and again to create this extra interest with that kind of stripe pattern that runs in the opposite direction. And as you can see, I ended up, knitting up here and then ending with half a stripe in the ochre color that I then Kitchener stitched together to close the hood. Hoods are unbelievably easy to knit in that respect. So nice, slightly longer in the back. Of course, the whole thing is a little bit shorter on me because I am that much bigger. So there's more fabric being held up by my shoulders. The sleeves are a perfect length for me, just kind of halfway down my hand. So I'm incredibly happy with this jumper, and I've already worn it loads. I think it needs to be colder before I start wearing this, which is the jumper that I knitted before, the light academia jumper that I knitted, that I was rushing to finish in time for the WestKnits mystery knit along. Then I cast this on, so I actually managed to knit 2 jumpers in the space of, what was it, about a month and a half in total, but especially this one, absolutely love. So until so far my finished objects this time, and now on to my works in progress. The first one I'm going to show you is the WestKnits mystery knit along that I'm working on. I am still fairly close to the beginning of clue number 3. Clue number 4 came out yesterday, and so I'm almost a week behind still. So I have to put my back into it this weekend to catch up a little bit, because clue 3 is a slow one. I am going to show it now, so if you don't want to have any spoilers, and if you don't want to see an example of what the shawl is going to look like, then look away now. I will put a timestamp down below so that you can see to what particular time you need to scroll ahead in order to miss what I'm going to show you right now. So yes, the Mystery Knit Along 2024. I don't know whether I've said this already, but I decided to knit this in a combination. The pattern asks for 2 different colors of sock yarn. I am knitting it in the combination of Cumulus, Fiber Space Cumulus, which is a finer yarn than a 4-ply. It's 600 meters per 100 grams. And my second yarn is my own linen, which is also 600 meters per 100 grams. And I am knitting this on 3mm needles, as opposed to, I think it's 3.5mm that the pattern calls for. So I'm going down a little bit in needle size, not to make it too open looking and still be able to see the texture and the stitches really well. And this is how far I got. I'll try and hold it up in a way that you get at least an impression of what the first two clues look like. As you can see, hopefully see here, the first clue is a set of kind of half circle shapes, wedges, half circle shapes with wedges in between that are stripes of the two yarns. And what you can see here is that the color of my linen seems darker in the second clue. That's because it is. Because I decided to knit with a gradient, one of my linen gradients. I started with the pale duck egg bluey green that is part of the pistachio linen cross weave fabric. I will show you a photograph of what pistachio looks like as a fabric and as a color. But that is a cross weave of this duck egg blue and a dark gray. It's this. Well, dark gray, it's more like a medium gray, medium to dark gray. So the gradient of the linen goes from duck egg, then slowly introduces more gray and finishes with the solid dark gray. So that's the first clue. The second clue, there's an option to go for brioche, but I had the feeling that I didn't actually even try it out, but I anticipated that the brioche stitches wouldn't show that well in the combination of the very fluffy cumulus and the very sleek kind of straight looking linen. So the option for people who don't want to knit brioche, and I don't really have a problem with brioche, but I opted not to for sake of the yarn, is to have a section of eyelets. So I've got eyelets, and then there's little bobbles in between, and then so that's clue 2. The whole thing has got a wedge shape, or like a circular shape at the moment. It's very, very long already at the top with all those half moons, as you can see. And then here at the bottom, it's kind of bunching up a little bit. Here at the bottom is the start of clue number 3. I will show you that a little bit more up close, if I've got enough space without pulling the whole thing over. So there's a semicircle and a wedge at the top, clue number 2, and then a slightly darker combination of that duck egg blue and grey again for clue number 3. So these are my triangles that form clue 3, and the idea is to knit these triangles, which is short rows, all the way across that entire bottom edge. So it's a big job. I did, I think, just 4 of them yesterday evening when I sat down for a couple of hours. So I'm going to start timing myself, but I have the feeling that it's like close to half an hour. It takes close to half an hour to just do one wedge. Maybe that's not fair, maybe it's less, but I will sit down properly and time myself for one wedge to get an idea of how long it's going to take me to finish clue 3. I have not even looked at clue 4 yet to see what comes next. In that respect, I do like at least a bit of mystery in the mystery knit-alongs. So what I am likely to do though is, once I do start clue 4, is kind of look ahead to get an idea of where that last color is going to be and how it sits together with the rest. Because if it wouldn't be at the bottom here, if it goes back to the top and does something along the top, then I may go in a different direction with my colors. I don't know. I have to try and assess that as I go. But on the basis of making this shawl and how this is going to finish, I will put some kits together for those of you who like the idea of knitting with these two very different yarns together and working with both a gradient and a fluffy cumulus yarn. The whole mohair dare idea that is part of this mystery knit along, of course, I kind of pass on because one of my colors is as good as a mohair dare. So Hence the omission of further mohair in the yarns that I've chosen. And at the moment, what I've done is I've just twirled together the ends that are all sticking out at the edge here. If this is the ultimate edge of the shawl and it's going to be left like this, then I might just leave these sitting there as they are. I think they're quite cute. I like them. Any of the other loose ends that I've got, I will weave in properly, of course. And I am using the I-cord that goes along the edge to fold in the color that I'm not working with. So since we're knitting in this direction, just in case that is a useful tip for you, since this section is basically all these short rows that you end up attaching stitch by stitch to the edge of the I-cord of the knitting that is there already, all these live stitches. So the whole thing sits like this, and you pick up those live stitches and knit them together with the edges of the knitting that you're doing at the moment. But on this side, there's an I-cord, and an I-cord is of course 3 stitches that you only knit in one direction. So when you finish knitting this row, you get to the I-cord, you leave the last 3 stitches, turn your work, and then knit them. So that bunches that kind of closes those 3 stitches up like a mini cord, a mini hollow cable, for want of a better description. And when you fold that in, of course, you can stick the yarn color that you're not knitting with inside that cord, inside those 3 stitches. So if I can take a photograph of it very up close, I will show you. But this is the I-cord coming up in my fluffy yarn, and then sticking out of the center of the I-cord is the linen that I'm not working with. So I will then, once now I've finished this wedge, I now have to start working with the linen again, and it's right here where I need it. I then do the same thing when there's only a couple of linen stitches, of course, on this side because my wedge goes the other way. So I can then either just leave because it's such a short section to bridge, I could just leave the fluffy cumulus and pull it up to the next stitch, or as I do, I even on this short section of I-cord, I work the cumulus into the mini linen I-cord that I've got here. So it's all really neat and finished as an edge. So much and so far for my WestKnits mystery knit along. I will put it away again now so that I can time stamp it to move on to the last work in progress. This is a work in progress sock that I started knitting when I knew that I could not sit and watch TV for a particular section of the mystery knit along, the WestKnits shawl. A lot of those sections take a while before you've kind of memorized what you're doing, and I like to memorize a particular stitch pattern so that I can knit it without having to think about it too hard and watch TV at the same time. So when I knew I was at a point where I needed to memorize stitches, so I couldn't just grab it and knit while watching TV, I had to be knitting something else, of course. So I got a ball of yarn that I bought to knit a pair of socks out of for my husband. It is Snuggly Stars yarns. It is Stormbreaker, the colorway. I will show it to you knitted up. It is 80% blue-faced Leicester, 20% nylon. So it's a sturdy sock weight yarn. I'm knitting it on 2¼ needles. It's a 400 meter per 100 grams, so it's a pretty standard sock yarn. And this is how the colors knit up. What I've done as a cuff is I've knitted a couple of rows in stocking stitch and then did, I think, 5 or 6 rows in a 1x1 rib. So it's got a very straight and not a very cuff-like top on it, which again I like. Checked with the husband, he loves that as well. He loves slobby socks. He loves it when they're long and then he pushes them down onto his ankles. So this is only probably about 2/3, half to 2/3 of the total length of the leg section before I start the heel, and then of course do the foot. So I'm planning to do a fair number of socks because I want to give some socks as Christmas presents to various family members this year. That may mean that I end up kind of coming to a halt with my garment knitting for a bit, so that when I sit in front of the TV, I just work on socks for a while in the run up to Christmas. And when I'm doing some more involved work, I really want to return to my crochet blanket. That was part of the Tessellation Nation course that I did earlier this year. I really want to get back into that crochet again because I know that as soon as I pick it up, I enjoy it. So there may be a bit of a hiatus in the jumper knitting part of my activities at home, unless I decide that the socks are doing my head in and I need acres of stocking stitch again to keep me happy. Who knows? What I do know is that I'm pretty fickle when it comes to this stuff. So best laid plans and all that. But here we are at the moment. It's sock knitting, finishing my WestKnits mystery knit along, and then on to my crochet again. I will keep you posted and let you know in 2 weeks' time whether I've kept that promise to myself or not. So that's it for knitting. No crochet again to show you this time. I'm wearing one of the tiny little crochet scarfies that I did. If I ever get around to writing this up, I'll post it on the website because it's just a small amount of my own linen yarn that you need. This is an example of one of the little scarves that I wanted to then edge in linen fabric, but I haven't even woven in my ends yet. But as I was walking around getting ready for this, I thought, I want to show something around my neck. Just quickly put something around my neck. This, of course, was lying on the table. So I put it on. I thought, actually, it's so freaking cute the way it is. Does it need anything else? Does it need any linen edges? I don't think so. Why not just wear it like this? So here we are. Let me know what you think of this. Do you want this written up as a pattern? Could be just a freebie on the website. Here I go with my promises that I then find difficult to live up to, so I apologize in advance. But anyway, that's it for knitting and crochet this time. Let's have a look at a visible mend project that I picked up from one of my customers who has been wearing one of the wool play suits in the large wool check, and she is a willow weaver, and always, because it is so hard wearing, wears this wool play suit for her work. Of course, the play suit, it creates a hammock-like space in your lap that you can drop things into, and with the sharp edges of some of the willow branches and her clippers, her scissors, she's made some damage to the play suit. I will show you that in the next section with some fun visible mends in linen, and I hope she's going to love what I'm going to do to it. I'm going to show you in the next section what I'm planning to do, and then in the next episode I'll show you the result of it finished. So here we go with some visible mending on a play suit before we dive into Layercake. So yes, this is the play suit, and I'm just looking to show you the damages on it. There is a small hole here. It's a little hole, like through and through, proper little hole in the fabric. Then I have a bigger one here. I hope this is all visible, properly visible. If not, then I will have to put in little windows with close-up photographs. Then looks like the secateurs have gone through the edge of the bottom pocket more than once. So some bigger damage in the bottom pocket. And then I saw this is purely wear. This playsuit is a number of years old, I can tell you. Then just above the edge of the zip in the front, the fabric is starting to wear thin. Let me see if I can show that up close. You can see that some of the fibers are starting to wear away. It's not a proper hole, but it is getting very thin and almost see-through. So what I'm doing with my visible mends is, instead of making those visible mends out of the wool fabric, which would be quite thick and chunky, I'm going to work them in linen. And because I have so many beautiful autumnal colors in linen cross weaves, I have chosen like a cross weave linen that is an almost virtual match for every section that has a hole in it. So example here, this is cinnamon linen. For this bigger hole, it almost the same color as the section just below it. So I think that'll look great. Of course, it's not going to be quite this big, but you get an idea. Then I have at the bottom of that pocket, that is mixed spice. Again, almost an exact match for that part of the playsuit. And I'm gonna end up going all the way around the edge. That'll be a big visible mend. Then right here in the front, that thin section near the zip, look at this. Virtual match with lava. And then last but not least, that first smaller hole, I have a virtual match, where am I here, with brown. So 4 different linen colors that will give me 4 different opportunities to add a patch. And I'm not going to do those patches neat. So the check lines are straight, you know, vertical and horizontal, but I'm going to do my patches at an angle to make them stand out. I am going to reinforce the little hole in the wool first, then sew the linen patch over the top, and then embellish those patches with some contrasting stitches in a nice bright color, a bitter limey kind of, you know, chartreusey, let's jump out and put a spotlight on these sections. Some stitches along the edges, not dissimilar to a repair that I did on my own wool playsuit a couple of years ago, and then hope that the customer loves what I'm doing. So far this section to show you, that's what I'm anticipating doing, and 2 weeks from now in episode 128, I'll show you exactly what I've done. On to Layercake, on to the Crofter. Enjoy. The Crofter. I'm starting off in a Crofter, wearing a Crofter in dark teal, in a size that is too small for me. I just am trying to do that to illustrate to you what difference it makes if you don't pay attention to both the bust and the hip measurements of the Crofter. It is a lot more straight than most of our Layercakes, and this is what happens. In terms of bust measurements, yes, I can get into a Crofter, but look at my sleeves, they're not even full length. And look what my tummy and my hips do to the hip measurements of the size 1. This is like flat on, tight on, and it makes the pocket stand out in a weird way. It kind of cuts around my hips, Of course, it makes my hips jut out extra. So please, when you are looking to order your crofter, make sure that both the bust measurement and the hip measurement of the garment is at least 2 inches, but even better, more than 2 inches, like 3 or 4 or even 5 is all fine. The bigger the better. Not, of course, ridiculously big, but you do need a number of inches of positive ease to be able to throw this on over the top of a different garment, have some space to put your hands in your pockets without bursting out of the thing, and have full length sleeves, because of course with the bust measurement only just about fitting me, then there's just not enough fabric to stretch around and give me longer sleeves. Now, of course, I know that my arms are longer than average because of my height, but still, the point is the same. Make sure that you don't don't order your crofter too small to avoid disappointment. So I am using this size 1 to show you a couple of color combinations and a couple of ways to wear the crofter, because that very straight shape allows you to wear it underneath layer cakes as well as over the top. So a couple of illustrations and then I'm into a more comfortable size 2. I completely forgot to point out that I was wearing breeches in the same color, in the dark teal, as my crofter, and these are the breeches in the regular length. So with my booties, you can see that they just stop short of the height of my booties, but it shows them off lovely. So a cropped look for your breeches works just as well as a full length one. Now, if you normally wear your breeches full length and you like this idea of wearing them in a bit more cropped fashion, then just roll up the elastic waistband a couple of times and of course they'll come up. If you normally wear the regular length breeches and they are full length on you and you want this cropped look as well, then get in touch and I'm sure we can do something for you and make you a pair of cropped breeches if that is your wish. So back to the rest of the outfit, wearing a size 2 smock in turmeric. The autumn colors of the winter weight linen are coming in the tunics in a couple of weeks time as a pre-order, both the smocks and the tabards. So if you're holding out for those, it won't be long to wait now. But let's keep going with my crofter. Illustrating the same point once more, but now with a play suit where of course I have even more loose fabric sitting around me. This is a size 2 play suit in the regular length, so cropped on me of course, and then with that size 1 crofter over the top, and I really have to shove it down to fit over the top of the play suit, and you can see that it just doesn't look great. So let me quickly change this size 1 crofter into a size 2 and look the difference that it makes. Phew, that's better. A size 2 crofter, you can see now that even on me, the sleeves are full length. I can move. The splits sit just at the entrance of my pockets of my play suit. It's not being caught and strangled, even though this shape is almost completely straight. There's a couple of inches, like 3 inches between the bust measurement and the hip to accommodate our curves. But apart from that, it's a straight line top. The neckline is much more closed than with a lot of our other layer cakes. And I've had requests for that, so here is one. The other thing to point out with the sleeves is that they have very large double cuffs, and that is specifically so that you can make them look really good and give them a proper finished look when you wear them with the cuffs up as 3/4 length sleeves. Of course, this is a great top to throw over the top of any other layer cake, and it comes with huge pockets. It's basically one huge kangaroo pocket which is sitting behind the front panel, and you enter it through the side seams. It's got a height to it so that if you plonk your phone in, for example, it can't just fall out. It has a proper like 4-inch or so catch area so things stay inside, and of course most importantly it keeps your hands inside. But you know, walking the dog or anything else that you might be doing outside where you quickly have to be able to shove something in your pockets, the Crofter is ideal for that. And that is also something to keep in mind if you want to wear your Crofter more like an overtop rather than an inside or undergarment. Then keep that in mind in terms of the positive ease, the extra space that you give yourself. If you want to be able to wear it over the top of a full outfit, then keep that in mind so that it doesn't pinch you in any place. However, if you choose your Crofter in the size of layer cake that you normally wear, then you will be able to wear it either over the top or underneath, like I'm doing now with that play suit. And then I can, of course, swap the two garments and wear it underneath your play suit, or your tulip dress, for example, or your tunics. So over or under, if you choose your regular layer cake size, you can go either way. If you tend to wear your layer cakes oversized in the first place, then of course there's nothing that stops you from sizing up. Right, now that I've got the second one on, I wanted to show you this right next to the dark teal of this play suit. Oh, and look at the difference in necklines. This does not have any closure. We've done the sizing of this neckline very cleverly. Even the biggest head will fit through, and you don't have any closure to create this very neat rounded neckline. So you can see the difference between what the neckline is of the Crofter top and comparing that, for example, with the play suit. And of course, that's the same neckline as the tunics, for example. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you about this fabric, this is a different variant on our black gingham. This is the teal gingham. It's got a light teal in it, which of course works beautifully with the dark teal. And this light teal, it's almost like a duck egg blue. It's a beautiful color, and I will show you the teal wash in a minute because it is kind of related to the teal wash. It's got that same kind of pale light green in it, and I thought that might be a good idea to point out so that you see where it fits in with the rest of the collection. So, changing out of this play suit, but keeping my teal gingham Crofter on to combine with some other colors. Simple and chic, a Crofter in size 2 combined with a pair of the black slackers, the winter weight black slackers in the long length, large size, perfect for my size 20 bum. What do we think? Teal gingham, black slackers. Let's add that teal wash in the shape of a short duster. And it wouldn't be called layer cake if we didn't play with the lengths very cleverly. So as you can see here, specifically with a short duster, the Crofter is ever so slightly longer than a short duster in the front, but it's slightly shorter than the short duster in the back. So it's got a bit of a sweep on it, slightly longer in the back to cover your bum, slightly shorter in the front to show off your legs. That same kind of swoopy line, but not quite as accentuated as it is with a duster. And here is the color that I was referring to, the teal wash, very similar to the color in the teal gingham Crofter. I'll open this duster as well so you can see how that simple line of the crofter goes extremely well with the slightly more curvaceous shape of the duster, but still that very simple shape that kind of hints towards kind of Japanese designers and Japanese aesthetic in terms of shapes. The crofter fits in with that beautifully, as of course do the simple lines of the slacker. Let's keep going. If you like the idea of the teal gingham with the black, but you find that teal wash a little bit too light, then here is the same outfit combined with a black duster, black short duster. It kind of dresses things up when you go black. So let's stick with the teal gingham and the black duster, but introduce another color just to lighten the mood and make it look all a little bit less formal. One of our other trouser shapes, the high-lows. No drop crotch, but nice wide legs, and of course that ability to make them shorter should you want to. I'm sure I've demonstrated that a number of times in previous episodes, but I specifically wanted to show them because they are the red cross weave, and of course that has got black in it. So does the teal gingham, and so does my little black duster. So it's a really, really comfy, interesting color combination, comfy combination of garments, interesting in terms of colors, but not quite as formal as going for both a jacket and a pair of trousers in red. So speaking of red, oh, let me take this off as well so that you can see just the teal gingham and red high-low combination as an outfit. Of course, I've got a bit of black coming back in my boots as well as the trousers. Wonderful combination, great every day. And then of course I can dress that up with a scarf. I can bring the red back with a shawl. Let's try and do that. Literally thrown this on, one of the beautiful shawls, autumn shawls, limited edition ones that hasn't sold out yet. Beautiful combination with the red cross weave, the red and black cross weave, because of that rich red, and then of course the black that's in there, and then the blue and the lilac contrast really nicely with the teal gingham. So just to show you what I did to put this on, I'm literally holding it, folding it in half around my neck, through the gap, through the loop, and done. That's it. One simple way to throw on a shawl without winding it around your neck multiple times. Let me show you a different way that is not quite as bulky, but that also stays on very easily without being able to blow off your neck in any way. Because if you just put it around your neck twice, then of course it could blow back if you're out in a windy environment, which we kind of are in the south of England at the moment. It's quite autumnal and windy at the moment, so being able to keep your shawl in place is handy. So if I grab it by one corner and I just let it drop so it is as long as it'll be, and then I put it around my neck twice. So this is the side that's kind of underneath, and this is the side that's coming over the top, winding it around my neck. I grab through the gap around my neck. I don't pull it through, I just make a little loop. So I stick my hand underneath the bottom edge of my shawl without pulling it through. I pull him through instead. So now I have that first starting point is going underneath, and that second, when I gone around my neck once, is going over the top of the loop around my neck, but then tucked under the loop that this starting point makes underneath my loop. So I hope that makes sense. Shall I do it again? So I start with the right hand side short. I wind around clockwise. I grab the starting point without pulling it through. Just stick my hand underneath and instead I pull the second end of my shawl through. So wearing it like this makes for an interesting looking neckline that is not too bulky, and this can't go anywhere. This cannot blow off. So let's keep going. Next outfit. Let's bring in the next color of Crofter. Red cross weave Crofter size 2 with my red cross weave high-lows, and I quickly slipped on a sangria cocoon love top. Beautifully color coordinated, of course, with the rest of my red outfit, and I could make the bits of that visible by folding up my beautiful long cuff on my Crofter top. You can see that you can fold up at least 4 inches before you even get to the edge of that cuff, and that then of course allows me to have the sleeves of whatever love top I'm wearing. I've chosen the red, but of course you can go for contrast. Whatever you're wearing underneath, you can have that stick out. If you're inside, for example, and you don't want it too warm and too closed, then you wear it like this. Go out by pulling down your sleeves, throw on a scarf, and you're ready to go. Talk about ready to go. Let's keep going. I'm going to add a crazy color to this outfit. Let's add some drama, baby. Here is a synergy duster in the large bright check, a long one, and oh my gosh, what a difference. Just thrown over the top of that very simple and very classic looking red cross weave ensemble that I had on already. Crofter top underneath, high-lows underneath, and then jazzing the whole thing up with a wildly colored synergy duster. So if you are not keen, if you like this kind of color combination, but you're not keen on going top to toe in one color, then let me just introduce a more classic color in the trousers and see what that does to the whole outfit. Different trouser shape again. This time are palazzos. Of course, that very straight but generous line of the palazzo trousers. It is a roomy trouser, but with a very column-like shape. No curves in it, just straight. Just a little bit of curvature around your hips to make it look straight, even though it sneakily, secretly isn't. So they're very, very comfy to wear as a result. They never pinch you anywhere. And they are a lovely combination with the Crofter, of course. Thrown on with this crazy looking, bright looking synergy duster. But even if I just remove the duster and go back to basics with the Crofter top and the palazzos, great combination. Let me show these with black as well, because of course the red cross weave is just so gorgeous with black. So I'm going to grab those black slackers again that I had on before and show you those with the rest of this outfit. Red cross weave Crofter with the black slackers. Red cross weave and black. Always a really good combination, no matter what trouser shape you choose or what you wear on top, because of course I would then be able to add that black duster back in for a more festive or more formal outfit. But let's keep going. I'm going to, now that I've got the black trousers back on, move to the next color in the Crofter that is highlighted. By the way, you can choose whichever color of linen you like. I'm just showcasing the 5 colors that I wanted to specifically highlight for this promotion. Just put them in the spotlight, and one of our unsung heroes in linen is definitely black. So here is black slackers with a black crofter. Simple and stylish and all in black. Black trousers, black crofter. Of course you can then wear something underneath that peeps out, or do a colorful shawl, bring one of your dresses back in over the top. You can, as per usual, really experiment as much as you fancy, or just keep it very simple, very straight and very stylish, all in black. So now that I've got the black crofter on, let's combine that with some other colors and let's keep it in the more classic range, but still colorful. Of course, I can only be talking about one other big check, and it's the large new check. Here we go in combination with a black crofter. So black crofter with large new check, baggies in this case. You can again see that the baggy pockets are just where the little splits of the crofter side seams are, so easy access, and crop look in combination with my little booties and in the large new check. So keeping with the layering theme, I will now grab an anytime top to wear underneath this black crofter. Works beautifully with the rest of the outfit, and again to show you how sleeve length and neckline works with an anytime underlayer in combination with the crofter. A very similar neckline on the crofter as we have on the anytime top. If you want to, you can keep just that edge of the anytime top visible, or you can just kind of tuck it away, pull and push the edges of it so that you don't see it sticking out over your crofter top. And of course the long sleeves, the extra long sleeves on the anytime top to keep your wrists warm. And I've chosen the grey color because it's just such a good color to combine with the large new check, but I could have gone for the slate or for the black as well in the anytime top. Will look beautiful with the large new check and then combined with the black crofter. So let's keep going. I'm going to bring in some more color, sticking with the black for now, but what about a bit more bright? Here is the capsuit, one of our summer promotions, a capsuit size 1 long in the nightshade stripe. And you're wondering maybe, what am I doing in a summer play suit when we're diving into autumn here in the south of England, and then obviously some winter weather if we're lucky. But if I wanted to wear this capsuit year round, then of course I can layer it like this, but I can also layer the bottom of it. If I take one of our cocoon baggies, for example, pair of black cocoon baggies or a black cocoon play suit that I would wear underneath this capsuit, then it would give me an extra layer. The two together would be wonderfully warm for autumn and winter and early spring as well, of course. And it makes for another outfit that can go year round. So keep that in mind with your baggies and your play suits. You can wear them year round, even in the summer linen, by wearing a pair of the cocoon baggies underneath. Which reminds me just to highlight to you that the introductory promotion that I've been running since the start when I introduced the cocoons, so for more than a year now, nearly a year and a half, it's getting silly, of having 10% discount on your first cocoon, 15% if you buy two, or 20% on all three or more if you buy them at the same time. That offer is still valid, it's still live, but I am going to have to retire it at the end of this month, at the end of October 2024. That extra discount on the cocoons is going to disappear. That means that you can still get your loyalty discount on them. So 10% is still available to you, but the 15 and 20% is going to go. So if you've got your eyes on some cocoons, a cocoon set for example, then strike while the iron is hot, while I still have most of the sizes and colors in stock, and order yours before the end of October. Okay, end of plug. Let's keep going and show this lovely purple with the last color of Crofter that I would like to highlight to you today, turmeric. Of course, a very exciting combination, turmeric and purple, opposite sides of the color spectrum, and therefore a wonderful combination. Now, what I wanted to highlight again is that if you are wearing a simple color combination like this, then of course you can jazz it up with a nice shawl. I think this may be the last of the Persian, what did I call it? Persian Dreams, I think. Persian Dreams shawls that I had, and I reordered because you all liked it so much. This is the most colorful shawl in the spectrum in the lineup this autumn, and just look what it does with a simple outfit like this. Colorful shawl, and one of those colorful shawls that you can pretty much wear with anything and everything. Proper chameleon. So let me dull down the trouser color a little bit and show you another idea of what to do with the Crofter. A pair of the simple cocoon baggies in slate, dark gray being such a wonderful color to wear in combination with turmeric, but also cocoons to be such a nice combination to wear with a Crofter top. I could be wearing my cocoon baggies and a love top or anytime top at home, just snuggling at home, and then having to pop out and just throw on a Crofter. It is long enough, tunic length enough to cover my bum and to feel properly dressed without any other garments. Of course, I still have the scarf on that I was wearing just now, but even without just baggies and a Crofter, the dark gray in combination with the turmeric, just lovely. Right, before I sign off for today, I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer with the turmeric and show it next to another one of my favorites, bitter lime. Bitter lime palazzos in the large regular length, so cropped, showing off my little boots to good effect, and in combination with the turmeric, let's add a shawl. Another example of a really versatile color combination, this particular shawl with the greens, the bitter lime, the turmeric colors at the ends, which brings back the colors, of course, with this outfit, but then has this pop of beautiful pinks and salmony colors and red around my neck. So it's another really nice way to tie a whole outfit together, and potentially a good way to wear colors next to your skin that suit you really well if the rest of the outfit aren't your strongest colors. If particular colors are not strong colors for you to wear, just don't wear them right next to your skin. Push them further away by wearing something in between, or wear them on the bottom half of your outfit only, and then you'll find that you can wear any color you like. All right, nearly done. One more pair of trousers to show you with the turmeric. I was just saying any color you like. Let's go back to one more outfit where I will wear all the colors in one go. And here it is, full-length slackers in the large bright check. As you can see, the large bright check, and this particular shawl, I've forgotten the name, I'll put it underneath, is, oh, it's a tale of two. Here it is. But it goes beautifully with the large bright check, and then of course the glorious turmeric Crofter in between. If you have any questions or comments about the Crofter, let me know. Unsure of your size, give me a shout. Of course I'll help. This pre-order finishes at the end of Monday. Oh boy, put myself on the spot. End of Monday, the 28th of October is when the pre-order for the Crofter top finishes. Then we'll start making them straight away. So early November, you will not have them. You won't have them early November, most probably. They will all be sent out on the 13th of November, because at the beginning of November, I'll be back in the Scottish borders filming another episode, the next episode of this podcast, and hopefully showing you a little bit of the beautiful landscape as well as that next pre-order. Thank you for sticking with me through all of this, and I will see you again soon.